You know, I love March Madness, and March Madness basketball is pretty awesome, right? I don't know if you guys are into that, but in 2015, Coach Krasinski, or however you pronounce his name, the guy from Duke, he went to his players right before they started the tournament, and he said, here's a basketball. And I want you to write on this basketball the name of everybody who helped you get to this place. And what they found out is that those kids, they would bring their basketball on the bus. They took it to bed. They took it to where they were eating. And he showed the power of gratitude. Now remember, the point of what we're getting at is for us all to come to some understanding of what is our vision for our life. What are some tangible goals that we can make in the midst of whatever we're going through in life? So that's the big picture. And today we want to talk about gratitude. A number of studies have been done that talk about gratitude. And they show that it, like 4 things. If you live a life of gratitude, it makes you more hopeful. Think about that. Hopeful. Don't you want to be more hopeful? It gives you more agency. You feel like you have more control over your life, which almost seems counterintuitive. I'm going to be grateful for other people. That means I'm going to have more. Yeah, actually. It improves patience. Don't we all need more patience? And it moves us from scarcity, I think it's to abundance. We're not trying to get ahead of people. We're trying to let all people get ahead. Make sense? You know, some time ago, just a couple of weeks ago, as I've been going through my quiet time, I've been thinking about, I've just been in the book of Philippians, and you might recall this verse right here. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit, but in humility consider others better than yourselves. I was struck by the word humility, and I said, what exactly is humility? We're talking about gratitude, humility? Yeah. And then I was searching on the internet for just what it meant, and I came across, what was it, John Piper. And John Piper said, think of humility as the opposite of the sense of entitlement. And I began to think, it's the opposite of entitlement. And entitlement is where you owe me, right? Or the world owes me. And I was reflecting in my journal, and I said, yeah, I owe everybody. They don't owe me. And I said this, when Jesus owed us hell because of our sin, he gave us life. So if humility is the opposite of entitlement, then I had to admit I wasn't very humble. I have to acknowledge that other people matter to me. And so what I did, I literally sat down and wrote names. The names of people I owe to. Mrs. Anderson, my high school chemistry teacher. Mr. Root, my high school math teacher, my high school swimming coach, the guy who led me to the Lord, Carl Hauser, a guy who discipled me, Dave Pereira, a couple that just poured into my life, Virgil and Carolyn Gosser, a pastor friend, Jeff Giles, my own wife, my kids, a missionary couple, people who I worked with. I mean, I've got 40 names right here that I walked out of there feeling humbled that people have poured into me. I don't deserve to be who I am, and I am not who I am because of me. I am who I am because of them, and ultimately because of Jesus, because many of the people who have had great influence in my life have been people who are Christ followers. Some are not, as a note, and they've poured into my life, and I owe much to them. And so I think you're getting at it. We're trying to understand, how do we get to a place of identifying kind of our unique giftedness and what God wants us to do and be about. And one way to get there is to live a life of gratitude. So here's some ideas. As Michael Hyatt says in his book, he calls them the disciplines of gratitude. And I've tried to do this, and I got this from Michael Hyatt. I've done a little bit, but in my journaling, and I haven't been that good about this lately, is that if you just write down 3 things that you're grateful for. So if you're journaling anyways, I just write the word gratitude, and I write 3 things, maybe 1, 2, whatever it is that happened the day before. But But I was really moved in that quiet time. It was a week or so ago. That really is like, wow, I owe so much to other people. And so just write them down every day. Another thing, and this is something I want us to do in this coming week, is I want you to just sit down and write 50 things. Again, this was Michael Hyatt's idea. What are 50 things that you're grateful for? And a way that he said in his book that I thought was really good to do this, and I have not done this yet, is imagine yourself without something. Yeah, you remember the movie It's a Great Life, or It's a Wonderful Life with the guy, the old movie, and he comes back to the world as if he hadn't been born. What would life have been like for you had you not met somebody, your wife, you'd not had a child, a specific child, you hadn't gotten that job? What would your life have been like? And that might get at you figuring out what these 50 things are. And I have a feeling that you may have a similar experience. And maybe the 50 things aren't things, but in my case, they're mostly people. People who've poured into me. There's people who've poured into you. So start by just building a life of gratitude. And studies show you're going to be a happier person. You're going to all these things, right? And we all want that, right? And yeah, again, we're trying to figure out what does it mean to live a life with intention and intentionality, to live a life where we're living our life on purpose, and ultimately on purpose for Jesus, because that's the ultimate point of everything. And if you start doing these things, coupled with sort of the negative side that we looked at last time with regret, it's going to help us to hone in on specific goals and specific aspects of us that make us unique and that God has uniquely gifted you and me to do and be about. I'm looking forward to our face-to-face time, guys. We'll see you.